I'm looking at, say, John right now. I'm looking at his eyes, because that's what you do when you converse with someone. And I'm doing that because we're having a conversation. And so I have this little frame of reference that helps me realize what's relevant right now. My goal is to have an interesting conversation. And I'm picking out the targets that I presume are relevant to that goal. Mm-hmm. And but then you might ask yourself, well, why that goal? And then, so that story that's guiding me is nested in a larger story, which is, well, maybe I'm an educator and a communicator, and I'd like to bring this knowledge to myself, but also to other people. Mm-hmm. And then outside of that is another story, which is, well, why am I doing that? And well, it's because I think that it's an interesting thing to do, and it's a meaningful and useful thing to do, but it'll help educate people, and maybe that'll make the world a slightly better place in some manner. And then outside of that, there's another presumption, which is, well, why would I bother trying to make the world a better place? And maybe that's because, well, because not suffering is better than suffering, and because I think that that's a moral way to act, and I would like to act in a moral manner. And then outside of that, there's yet another story, which is, well, and that's where you start to shade into the religious. It's like, who exactly am I imitating when I enact that morality? And I think that's where we can have a particularly interesting discussion, because I would say psychologically that implicit figure at the outer edge of the narrative structuring of my consciousness and meaning realization, that would be something that's psychologically equivalent to the hero of heroes. In some sense, that would be culture-free, but in our culture, in the Judeo-Christian culture, that figure is Christ.